Hello, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well and having a great day and ready to get into some twists. Yes, I love twists. It feels like a good, I don't know, people say it's a wringing out of your organs, and maybe that may be so. But for me, it just feels really good on my back. And it's an important movement for our spine, right? These sort of twisting things. And it's not necessarily something that we do a lot of in our day-to-day lives, but super important for spinal health. So a very quick little bit of anatomy for you. When I talk about the lumbar spine, that's the low back, right? So the vertebrae that attach the pelvis to the rest of the spine. And then when your ribs start, that's what we call the thoracic spine. And so the lumbar spine doesn't have ribs, so it's super mobile, right? Usually when we twist, the most of the movement is going to be in the thoracic spine or the neck, right? The cervical spine. The lumbar spine or the cervical spine, right? Low back and the neck. The thoracic spine, where your ribs are, because of those ribs, it restricts movement a little bit more. But there is still some twisting that can be done here. So we're going to try and isolate and get into the thoracic spine as well as doing twists everywhere else through the spine. Hopefully that sounds okay. And if that didn't make any sense to you, don't worry about it. We're just going to twist and hopefully it'll feel good. Okay, let's start in child's pose. If you're comfortable there, and if it's too much on your knees, I get it. It's a lot of compression. You could lie back on your back and draw your knees into your chest instead. Otherwise, join me in child's pose. Now you have a couple options here. First one would be the legs together. And this really helps release through the low back a little bit more, but your breath will be constricted, right? Because your thighs are pressing into your belly. The other option would be knees wide with your toes still together and then hips back. And you're still going to get a release through the lumbar spine, but it's more about hips here. You could always bring a pillow or a block underneath your torso, or if your hips are way up high, you could bring a pillow or a block between your heels and your bum. Maybe your forehead reaches the earth. You could always bring your hands or your palms underneath your forehead to bring the floor up to you. And then your arms can go wherever. They could be extended. Try to bring ease though, so let the elbows bend. Maybe wrap them around your body or kind of chicken wing them underneath your elbow or shoulders. And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then continue breathing however you need to. And start to observe your breath here. How does it feel? Does it feel spacious and free? Maybe it feels a little bit sticky or choppy or even constricted. Nothing to fix or change. You are perfect as you are, but just observe the breath. Last few moments here. And then if you're on your back, stay where you are. I'll get to you in a moment. If you're in child's pose, start to walk your upper body off the left edge of your mat. So coming into a side stretch while in child's pose. You could clamp down on top of one hand with the other, but the idea is that you're really starting to get an opening now through the right side of the body. Breathe into the right rib cage and exhale, lengthen the right sit bone back toward your heels. If you're on your back, bring your legs and your arms over to the same side of the mat. So you're kind of making like a banana shape or a half moon shape. And then you'll be getting a similar release. Couple more breaths here. And then on your inhale, come back to center and then walk your upper body off the other edge of the mat. And it's super normal for a head or your hips to lift here. Clamp down on top of one hand of the other if you wish, and then breathe now into the left side of the body. And as you exhale, lengthen your left sit bone back toward your heels. If you're on your back, then just take the opposite banana pose. Last couple breaths here. Stay where you are. And then on your inhale, slowly come back to center and then gently start to press yourself up. If you're on your back, take your time, make your way to hands and knees. So we're in child's pose for a long time. So you might need to release some compression on the back, the legs. Maybe step one leg out back behind you and then the other. And then let's start to move through cat and cow. Make sure your hands are nice and wide. Inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through your lower back, broaden through your collarbones. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round through the spine. Really press the floor away from you. And then inhale into cow. Exhale, round into cat. So a few more of these undulations on your own time, on your own breath. If your lumbar spine, your low back is feeling tight these days, you might shift your hips further back toward your heels. You might start to take big circles here, or even barrel rolls through your chest and shoulders. And then come back to center. Let's get into the side body a little bit more, because if we're opening up space here, it will give more space for a twist. So cross your right hand in front of your left. The heel of the hand could be quite close to your fingertips, or it could be further forward. And then on your exhale, start to send your hips back. You could stay up on your palms, or you might come down to one forearm and keep the other one lifted, or maybe both forearms down. And then take a little wag of your tail from side to side. I need to move my knees further back just to deepen the stretch. Maybe you start to send your hips over to the left slightly, or even just sending your sit bone over, tailbone rather, to the left. We'll be getting a deep, deep opening through the right side of the body. And then slowly come back to center, little wiggle or noodle to release. And then we'll switch sides. So now crossing the left hand in front of the right, either with the heel of the hand up to the fingertips or the hand further forward. Tuck your toes, shift your hips back. Again, you might stay up high, or you might come down for a little bit more support. Like, go where you need to go. For me on this side, I have to find a slightly different angle in order to get the stretch. And then slowly come back to center. A little wiggle, noodle, or shake. All right, come back to hands and knees now. And then take your left arm out to the side. Now I want your entire lumbar spine and pelvis to stay still if you can here. If this is, this could be a lot of weight on your arm, so you could bring your hand to your elbow instead. Or sorry, that's not your elbow, your shoulder. Try bringing your hand to your elbow. That's a curiosity. All right. And then, so again, keeping your low back still, I want you to take little wings. So opening and closing just with the thoracic spine. And then it's very hard to tell without mirrors or feedback here if the lumbar spine is moving. If you have something like a block, you could bring it to your low back to get that little bit of feedback. And then change the angle of the arm. Maybe you reach the arm forward and on an angle. All right, and then as you inhale, really open up to the left. Let the movement go all the way through the body. Exhale, thread under to the right. Don't get too cozy here, though. Press back into that right hand. Inhale, open. And exhale, thread. One more time. I'm going to turn to face the camera. This time, as you twist, settle down to the earth a little bit more. You could bring a pillow or something behind the back of the shoulder or side of the head to give yourself a little bit more support. You could press into the floor with that right hand. You could bring the heel of the hand into the crease of the left wrist. Maybe reach the right arm up to the sky or drape the lower arm behind the low back. Wherever it feels like the most interesting place physically to be. And if that's just with the palm of the hand on the floor, wicked, right? Own it. Go where you need to go. And then slowly press back into your right hand. Inhale, unwind, back to center. Shake it all out. And then we'll switch sides. So plant your left hand, and again, really stable through the pelvis and the low back. Right arm goes out to the side, or maybe you bend your elbow and take a little wing instead, and then take little rotations just through the thoracic spine. And again, it's pretty tricky to know if the lumbar spine is staying stable. You might want to press into the floor with that right knee a little bit more. And then take a different angle on the arm if you wish. Sometimes it's harder to isolate on one side than the other. All right, and then inhale, open the right arm all the way up. Exhale, thread to the left. Same thing, inhale, open. Exhale, thread. One last time. And this time, start to settle into the twist. So again, you might bring the back of the shoulder or the side of the head down. You could stay here, pressing that left palm into the earth, or maybe just passively hanging out here. You could bring the heel of the hand to the crease of the wrist, arm up to the sky, or drape the arm behind you. Go where you need to go. And it could be different on this side from the first. Right? We all have different muscular imbalances and tightnesses and strengths. So go where you need to go. Last breath here. And slowly plant your left hand again. Inhale, unwind, shake it out. Little wiggle or twist or shake or cat and cow. And then plant your hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. You might pedal the heels here a little bit, bending one knee and then the other. And then shorten your stance a little bit and take your feet wider. So mat width apart. So you've got a nice wide base of support of both the hands and the feet. All right, press into your right hand and start to pick the left hand up to the side. Exhale, thread it over to the right. Now you might let the hand hover. You might bring the hand to the outer left thigh or calf or ankle or foot. Maybe you're able to help pull against the leg to deepen the twist so you're looking underneath your right armpit. And then slowly unwind, shake it out in the middle. And then we'll switch sides. Plant the left hand, pick the right arm up, and exhale. Twist over to the left. Again, you might grab your rib cage, your thigh, your calf, your foot, your ankle, and then maybe you pull on that left leg to twist yourself a little bit deeper under your armpit. And then slowly unwind. Come back to center. Whew, okay. And then bend your knees. Look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat. Standing forward fold. You could sway a little bit here from side to side. You could clasp opposite elbows with hands if you want more traction through your spine. If you'd like more support today, then bringing your elbows to your knees is a really great place to be. Go wherever you need to go for a few more breaths. All right, and then release your arms. Bring your fingertips to your shins. Inhale, a little part-way lift back. The neck stays long. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more. And then bend your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, slowly start to roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time. You can use your hands on your thighs for more support till eventually you come all the way up. Couple loops of your shoulders, hop back and down, a little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. Let's take a very gentle, easy, free twist from side to side. And then shake it out. Come to center. Feet hip width apart. Hug your legs toward each other. Tailbones either slightly, belly bent to spine. Shoulder blades on your back. On your inhale, reach your arms forward. On your exhale, start to reach your right arm back behind you. So twisting to the right. Now immediately wants to happen is the hips twist, right? They take the twist. So keep the hips facing forward and then come back to center. And now we'll go to the opposite side. So exhale, twist to the left. Keep wrapping that outer left hip forward. And then center once more each way. And then center and then shake it out a little bit. All right. Send your weight to your right foot. And then step your left leg back for a warrior one. So the feet are still hip width apart, and that back heel can be positioned whatever way. So that foot's on whatever angle it needs to be on. So you can start to wrap the outer left hip forward and draw the outer right hip back. Now, it's unlikely that your hips are going to be fully square to the front. That's okay, right? They might be off on a little bit of an angle. Start to sink into that front knee. Supercharge your back leg towards straight. This back leg becomes your anchor when we start to move here. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh. Can you derate the big toe on the back foot so you're not rolling into the arch of the foot? And then bring your arms to cactus. Whew. Inhale here. As you exhale, come forward on a long line. So keep the bend on the front knee. We start to lift. Wrap the outer left hip forward, outer right hip back. Keep the elbows high. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. And then back to center. Same thing, same twist. Twist to the right, keep the elbows high. And center. One last time. This time, pause here. Keep supercharging that back leg towards straight. Keep lifting the elbows high, sinking into the front knee. And then inhale, unwind. Come up onto the toes of the back foot. Step forward. Shake it out a little bit. And then we'll do that on the opposite side. So send the weight to your left foot. Pick up the right foot, step it back for warrior one again. Again, back foot can be on whatever angle it needs to be on, so you can really start to wrap the outer right hip forward as you draw the outer left hip back, sink into the front knee, really start to work that back leg towards straight. Squeezing the bum and the top of the thigh. De-weight the big toe on the back foot. All right, bring the arms to cactus. Inhale here. Exhale, come forward on that long line. Again, keep the angle on that front knee and thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the left. Elbows stay high. And inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. And center. And then twist. And then pause here. Maybe you lift the elbows a little bit higher. Right? Really using the strength of the obliques here because the arms are hovering. Inhale back to center. Come up onto the toes of the back foot. And then step forward. Shake it out a little bit. All right. Send your weight back to your right foot. A little buoyancy on that knee. This time step your left leg back for high lunge. Now by all means, you can lower the back knee and take it to low lunge if you prefer. Otherwise, stay here with me. Feet on train tracks, right? Sink into the front knee, supercharge your back leg towards straight. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh. Maybe you're able to stack the back heel over the toes rather than the heel reaching back, right? It becomes a really stable place. And then sink into the front knee. Same thing, arms to cactus. Whether or not you're on your back knee or if it's lifted, lean forward on that long line. Inhale here. Exhale, twist right. As soon as we twist, that back leg wants to collapse. So keep it straight. And then back to center. And then twist. And center. Last time, twist. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you fold a little bit more deeply. You can bring an elbow possibly to the thigh. You could bring palms to prayer. You could spread your wings, but really keep working that back leg towards straight. And slowly unwind. Whew, step forward. Shake it out a little bit. And then last side. Weight to your left foot. A little buoyancy on that knee. Keeping your feet hip width apart. Step back either to your high lunge or low lunge with the back knee down. If you're on a tightrope, it gets too wobbly, right? So keep hip width between the feet and then sink into that front knee as you supercharge the back leg towards straight. Wrap the outer right hip forward. Draw the outer left hip back. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh. Sink into the front knee. Bring your arms to cactus. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen on a long line. Pause here. Really work that back leg. And then exhale, twist to the left. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. And center. Last time. Twist. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you deepen your twist or the fold even. You can bring your palms to prayer. Or maybe you spread your wings. Really keep working that back leg towards straight though. And then inhale, unwind. And then step forward. Shake it out a little bit. Whew. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and step back to your plank pose. Either from your knees or from your toes, just for a couple breaths. Squeeze your bum, squeeze the tops of the thighs. And then exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. Little wiggle of your hips from side to side. Untuck your toes. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. So much so you feel your kneecaps lift away. Send your tailbone to the back wall. Belly button to spine. Shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, lift the heart forward up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Couple more of these. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. As you lift up, you might let the hands hover. You might take them out off the mat. You might press up higher. Go where you need to go. But really keep pressing the tops of the feet into the floor and squeeze your bum. And exhale, release all the way down. One cheek to the earth. Deep belly breath to release through the lower back. And then roll over onto your back. Once you're there, draw your knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. And we'll set up for one last twist, but this time a nice passive one. So take your right arm out to the side, and maybe you shift your hips right a little bit to start with, and then exhale, lower your knees to the left. Okay, so rather than working the twisting muscles, now they get to release. You might stay here, you might take a single leg twist or cross leg. You could bring a block underneath your knees or between them if you'd like a little bit more support. You might look along the right arm just to finish off the spiral in the spine. Last couple breaths here. And then on your inhale, return to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine. Maybe you shift the hips left a little bit, left arm out to the side. Exhale, lower your legs to the right. Again, as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. Doesn't have to be the same variation on this side that you did on the first. Maybe look along your left arm to finish off the spiral in your neck. Last few breaths here. And then slowly on your inhale, return to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine. And then draw your knees toward you. Take them wide out toward your shoulders or armpits. You might stay here for your happy baby, or maybe you kick your feet up to the sky. You grab the backs of the thighs or somewhere along your legs, your ankles, or your feet. You could rock a little bit from side to side. And then start to make your way into your final resting pose, which could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. In Shavasana, you could rest on your side, or in child's pose, or a seated meditation. And there's no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then let go of your breath control. Return to your natural breath, slow and sweet. Let go of any last muscular tension or gripping, particularly in the face or the jaw. Stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.